See, good enough. I don't really care. Unsupported resolution, my ass. Like, I legit just don't care. It took like 15 minutes just to get stream started because I wanted to sit here and screw with me. So we're finally here. Finally. I'm gonna drink a little bit of Pepsi, and nobody in particular, and then we're gonna continue on with something that I started the other day. Alright. So, we have our PP-19 Vityaz here, except it's been broken down in the handguard portion because the Vityaz was an offshoot of the Bizon project. So I figured it was probably time to make a Bizon. I've made only one before, so making two shouldn't be too big of a deal. So I started and then stopped. So today we'll probably come through and try to finish it on up a little bit. So it's gonna this is what we're gonna be making, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. The shoot, I'm going to delete that. The Vityaz and everything that kind of was based off of it are all derived from the AK-74U. Right now, everything's being so slow for no reason. Hey, sharpshooter. Appreciate it. Like, I've barely been doing anything, and LDD wants to, like, just die on me. Alright. I personally don't think it's worth it, but other people do think it is a good show. I feel like there was a huge amount of hype for the show when it first came out because of how quote-unquote good it was. I think the problem with it, though, is there are so many other shows, and this is all personal opinion, that are way better than Attack on Titan. And I think the good reason behind me saying that is because the second you find out what's in the basement, I feel like it takes a lot of oomph away from the show. I do enjoy Ruby better than I enjoyed Attack on Titan. That is a definite. I think the problem is, though, with Ruby is that these you can tell that it peaked at some point in time, and it still has room to peak again, but this last season was just abysmal. The amount of progress that our characters have made is so slim, really, compared to other ones, basically. And I think that's kind of the problem that I'm having with Ruby right now is that it takes forever for something to happen. Hey, Jose. Like, I don't know, it felt like it dragged like a lot, which was kind of annoying. Pacing to a show is like super important, and Ruby's is a little too slow. That's what I've been having trouble with. As of right now, though, I have been watching One Piece, like binging through One Piece a lot. And then, I got to the Water 7 arc right now, is what I'm currently on. And that is, without a doubt, like one of my favorite arcs that I've gone through so far. So I'm pretty happy. They just got to Innis Lobby, so we're going through that right now. Looking forward to the amount of stuff that's about to go down, because you can tell, like, Luffy just received his first power-up, basically. Can't wait. Should be pretty fun. The amount of progress done during Volume 6 was just getting into a train crash, meeting another character, and getting to Atlas very little. And I think that's kind of the problem, and I think that's what turned off like so many people for this particular season. Because on all these other seasons, there has been so much that has happened in a decent amount of time, because the show honestly does not run incredibly long. It has a super short runtime. Usually most episodes, at least in season 1, it was super short. At the beginning, the middle, and the end, I think they were 15 minutes long, and then in between that, you're looking at episodes that were like 7 and 8 minutes long, so it was incredibly short and easy to get through. But now, in these newer seasons, once the show like picked up steam with, I guess, funding and whatnot, it's kind of standardized now, like 12 to 15 minute long episodes. Some are a lot longer than that, and I think the problem is it's just I don't know, it's so brutally slow in the most recent one. I somehow watched volume 1 through 5 in one night. Yeah, it's not exactly a large show. And I think the interesting part is this new season, like you said, there was so little that happened that it was kind of like you were just sitting there. Like, when is this going to happen? Oh, when is that going to happen? Oh, you got sidetracked over here. Oh, we're not doing that just yet. Oh, we didn't get there yet. Oh, and then there was certain parts of it that were definitely good, that I really, really appreciated, and then there was other parts of it where I was just, oh, I could care less about that. Oh, yeah, whatever. And I don't want to say like you felt bad about it. It was just, I guess you got bored. You just wanted to move on. Like, oh, okay, cool. Can we finally see this? Can we finally do that? And yeah, it was abysmal. I mean, I think my problem with a lot of that plot in particular is, so we see this in a lot of other shows too, but you have like a character who has been here forever, and then boom, this brand new piece of information comes out, and all of a sudden this new character that has been with us all this time, well, this old character that's been with us for all this time is completely changed because of it. But let me try to clarify this. My problem with all of this stuff that came out about Ozpin is that it felt so crammed and contrived, like it just did not belong, that it no longer felt fluid. So a story from start to finish has to feel some type of fluid. If you jump all over the place and you start introducing different plot elements and things from various other parts of a story, then it no longer becomes fluid. It becomes choppy and paced horribly. And you can kind of have whiplash as an audience when all of a sudden, oh, this character is basically immortal. Oh, there's gods now. Oh, okay, that's cool. I guess there's a light and a dark one. All right, I'll just have to suspend my disbelief on how we don't know that until now after 6 full seasons. Oh, okay. Well, Salem was Ozpin's lover. Okay, that's a new one. That's interesting. I wish we would have known that, season 2 or 3 instead of just now figuring that out, because it kind of feels, like baloney to me. Oh, they had kids together, and that was the maidens. Oh, okay. I guess that's cool. Don't really know how that one works out, but all right. And you see what I'm saying? There's all these twists and plot turns and stuff like that. So then all of a sudden when you get to the end of it, you're just like, wow, that was so much to take in, but do I really care about any of that? Do I feel some type of emotional connection to this or that? Or do I just kind of sit here and be like, oh, all right, and then continue on with my life? So Jose is here, or at least he was. I don't know if he's still here. Jose is a good friend of mine from high school. And we used to sit down every morning in a group of us. We used to walk around during lunch. And something that we would do is talk about anime quite often. And at the time, it was just kind of one of those things where you would talk about whatever cool fight just happened in an anime. And I feel like Ruby is, if I was having a conversation with Jose, is not something that I would bring up. Because this most recent season, it's almost like, oh yeah, you don't deserve to get credit from someone else. You don't deserve the free publicity of me telling my friends to watch this because it's garbage. I'm not going to recommend something trash to my friends because then they're going to make fun of me for liking trash, and I'm not about that. So there was a point in time where I did recommend Ruby to people because it was honestly good and fun, and then Monty died, I guess would be the biggest change. And then I stopped recommending it to people because now it just feels so forced. Osmond being a bad person, whatever, I could care less. Doesn't matter to me. Salem basically trying to destroy the world, whatever, I could care less. It doesn't matter to me. And that's kind of the problem that I've been having with the series as a whole, is that I just don't care for so much things that, I should probably care about. Because, it's been like so rushed all the time. Something that I would have liked to see is, so you had Oscar, and we had Oscar like fairly early on in the series. And something that I think would have been really cool is if his mom or someone was like tucking him in the bed and she read him some type of story that he was going to go to bed for. And it was a fairy tale story, obviously. But the story then kind of would be true, basically. So in the sense that, like, she would read a story about how there was a prince who really liked a woman, but the woman was kind of evil, Salem, Osmond. and then stuff happened and whatnot, the full story basically would be read to him as a fairy tale, and that would expose the audience to the story then as well. And then a couple seasons later, when they sprang the surprise on us that Ozpin was the prince and Salem was the woman and their maidens were their kids and stuff like that, it would have felt more organic as a story implementation, as opposed to it just being like, surprise, boom. Yeah, bet you didn't see that one coming. We got you good, didn't we? And then you're just like, oh, okay. Let me real quick go check VRV. I start like super long series, and then when I get tired of binge watching like 20-30 episodes, I go through other things. So something else that I'm watching right now is Gate. And I feel like Gate is one of those shows where it has all the things that it wants to implement into the show, but it's slowly bringing those in over time, and it's not trying to like rush it super fast. So he didn't get his full entourage of women, it's a harem, within the first 2 or 3 episodes. It came over time. It says Ozpin can use magic after he reincarnates, but he apparently can't now. There's been so many plot holes in RWBY that's not even funny, because you have to keep in mind that we have the main series RWBY, but then we have the spin-off series World of Remnant, which is like all this history and lore building that they did because they didn't put it in the show, which, you know, me personally, I would have appreciated it in the show more than anything, but they didn't put it in there. And then you get RWBY Chibi, which is obviously supposed to be like this kind of super lighthearted, fun section, but at times you're kind of, I don't feel like that. I feel like it just, like I said, I think RWBY peaked. I think there was a point in time where RWBY was really good. It had a solid direction of where it wanted to go, and then it just started dropping. Just dropping hard too. You know, not even a small drop, a pretty big one. When this happens. I also feel like there's a lot of Rooster Teeth shows that get good and then die slowly. Because I think Red vs. Blue suffered the same fate. It was a good show, died. And I think a lot of it has to do with Rooster Teeth themselves. I don't think I think they change a lot of things that, you know, might not necessarily have needed changing. And because they decide to change and do stuff like that, they end up hurting the shows. Like, oh, well, our demographics came in and we're noticing this trend, so if we take and change the show in this way, we'll get more people watching. Ultimately, Rooster Teeth is a business before anything else, and I think it hurts them when they do that. Oh yeah, I've done that plenty of times. just I have my own gun company. Quicksilver Industries is this guy's like own gun company, but they don't actually make guns. He does like all the concept work and stuff like that. So me personally, I have Blue Jay Industries. That's what I call mine. Oh, crap. Forgot you can't click on stuff. So one of my favorites is this one. So this is a 22 Magnum. Is that right? Yeah. Survival gun, basically. So it's got this huge box magazine on it. You can see how much rounds are inside of it. It's fully ambidextrous, so you have switching feet. So ejection port here, ejection port there, brass deflector. There's different length stocks, so it's not adjustable, but you can take this one off and replace it with another one. Paddle style magazine release, because it's supposed to be ambidextrous, and that's like the best magazine release when you're trying to be ambidextrous. Ambidextrous sliding fire selector and safety, basic trigger, and then our charging handle up here, which is more like a FAMAS. Pretty simple stuff. And yeah, so I designed this as like the ultimate zombie gun, and 15 because I designed it in 2015. So it's supposed to be a survival rifle. Pretty simple stuff. Do I have? Yeah, and then this is one of those things where it field stripped, but you know, not entirely too well. I like to design guns all the time, but then I saw Quicksilver Industries, and like Quicksilver Industries does really good work on his stuff. So it's just kind of like, oh well, why make mine when I can look at his and use that as reference? So I need to fit these in here, but like totally can't. Wait, yeah, I can. What am I doing? I can literally do this. Yeah, wow, I'm bad at this. So I need like 4 studs worth of room. that for up here. I want to see One Piece, but I don't have a subscription anymore for Crunchyroll. My phone broke. Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a lot. Like, we're talking about 700 plus episodes to catch up. And that's just to catch up. Because it's still ongoing. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. There's the creator himself has even like told the people who are working on it with him, he's writing it, but he knows that if he dies before it ends, he wants other people to know how it's supposed to end. So it's just, yeah. It's just one of those times where you're like, bro, does it really need to go on for that long? Yeah, 875. 700 was the last time I checked before I actually started, and then I started, and now I don't want to say I'm regretting it because it's gotten really good lately, but I had to go through so much to finally get to where I am. Literally the best thing to do is to probably just pace yourself, because there's been like points in time where I'm watching it and I'm saying like, oh, I really don't feel like watching this, but I still try to just to get through the arc that I'm at. But you know, like you can't do stuff like that because it just makes you feel miserable while you're watching it. So like I said, the best thing to do is to pace yourself so that you're not sitting there miserable the entire time. That's why I have other smaller series going on at the same time, so that I can sit here and switch back and forth between the two of them. So I don't have to kind of worry about that. Like, I'm really enjoying Gate, but there's only one season of Gate. So now I'm kind of, I don't want to say lost, but I'm a little about watching it now because I've gotten invested into a story that's only one season long. Shit sucks. The other thing that I watched that was absolutely fantastic, it was so good that I actually finished it in a day. The Promised Neverland. Oh my goodness, I love that series. Gate, so far, I've been loving it. It's goofy, but it gets serious when it needs to be. You can tell that there's like heart, passion that went into making Gate. It's incredibly accurate to the weapons portrayed in it. Actually, I spent a whole live stream the other day looking up the weapons that went into it, because I do want to make more anime weapons. And Gate just so happens to have a lot of really realistic firearms usage in it. So I was kind of looking forward to seeing if I could find a weapon from Gate to make. I really thought about doing the Type 64, which is the main assault rifle that they use. I watched Promised Neverland for only a few episodes that were out, but sadly it was a long time ago. Oh my goodness, dude. It is an absolute masterpiece. I love The Promised Neverland. It is, without a doubt, one of my top 10 animes. And that's saying a lot, because I've seen so many animes that it gets kind of hard sometimes to keep up with how many you've actually seen. Like, someone will say a name, and you'll be like, oh, I don't think I've seen that one. And they'll describe it to you, and then some character names, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, oh yeah, I did see that one. I remember it. I didn't like it. It's just one of those things, man. Ugh. I love The Promised Neverland. It's a really good series. And it's short but conclusive at the same time, which was also nice. And then they hint at a second season, but even if you don't get the second season, I still feel satisfied where it ended. A lot of people, I looked up reviews on it the second I got done watching it because I wanted to know what other people thought about it. A lot of people say that the first couple episodes, setting up the premise and everything like that, was kind of rough. But the second you get past all of that, it feels much better. And I'll agree with that because, yeah, those first few episodes, you can't really tell where the show is going. You don't know what it's trying to be. So, like, oh, is this going to be an action anime? Or is this going to be a slice of life about orphans? That type of thing. There are other anime that are a little bit rougher, though. Me personally, I think Bleach is pretty rough when you're first starting, which is, as far as I know, like a super unpopular opinion to have, considering a lot of people just adore Bleach. Yeah, I don't think Bleach is worth watching, so you know, you're kind of fine. I will watched the reruns that Toonami was putting out and whatnot, and just this. I don't know, it seems just one of those things where you're just kind of like, oh, cool. Shonen, yeah. Out of all of the big four, so I'm going to say big four, the old big four, because there's new ones out now that could be considered a part of that. Dragon Ball, I could care less about. I feel like there's a formula for Dragon Ball, and it follows it pretty strictly, and that's how they get away with it. So I could care less about it. And then you had Naruto, and I enjoyed both Narutos, though Shippuden I did find to be better than the original. One Piece, which I've been enjoying quite a bit lately, and is that all four? Did I name all four? Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach. I couldn't get into Bleach, so yeah, it's all good. I didn't like Dragon Ball for the simple fact that it's kind of easy to guess how most things are going to go down. Oh, okay, this big threat's going to come to the planet, right? It's going to kick someone's ass brutally, probably Goku's. Like, Goku's going to get absolutely demolished within the first little bit of their fight, right? Then Goku is going to realize that he has to train. All of his friends are going to stall for him so that he can go train. Then he's going to come back and he's going to win. And that's pretty much the whole formula. And then every once in a while, Goku dies. And then after he dies, he trains. And then they bring him back to life using Dragon Balls, because, you know, the whole show is called Dragon Ball. And yeah, that's the whole show. And you know what? Some people, they like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Other people, They need substance. I don't like Boruto because finishing Shippuden and then going into Boruto, you kind of realize that Boruto became a slice of life anime. So you had a shonen, and then they brought peace. So the entire Naruto world is set up around not having peace, having war and strife between nations, right? And then at the end of Shippuden, they bring peace to the entire world, which means going into Boruto, when a show's whole premise is built upon killing other people, and that's not happening anymore, you get kind of bored really fast. I forget where I stopped off for Boruto, but I was enjoying wherever I stopped because it had changed just a little bit. Like it, for some weird, it was like at a spot where it kind of was good for a moment, as far as I remember. I just don't remember where I stopped off at. I think it depends on the type of slice of life, because there are some animes considered slice of life that are not slice of life, but are also really good. There are also others that are really bad. I'm going to name a slice of life anime right now, and then you're going to Google it, and you're going to be like, that's totally not slice of life. School Days is considered a slice of life, but that's so clearly not a slice of life. You know, people don't go around killing one another for love triangles. Like, it's just so clearly not a slice of life, but it's considered a slice of life. So it's kind of crazy to think about it like that. Other animes that are considered a slice of life that aren't, but are actually good, not School Days. I just had the name. Durarara is considered a slice of life, but really good. I love Durarara. One of my favorites. Sword Art Online 2, I can see why it would be considered a slice of life, but I've watched all of SAO, and the only SAO that I've actually liked and wanted to see more of is Gun Gale Online Alternative, when it's not talking about Kirito. That is the only one that I have thoroughly enjoyed and actually was like, oh yeah, I'd love to watch this again. This was awesome. Which one did you never hear of? Durarara, because if it's Durarara, man, good series. Yeah, it is absolutely good. I think it's one of those that you look at it from the outside looking in. When someone explains it to you, you're like, oh, that sounds like slice of life. And then you get into it and you realize it's not slice of life. But it's like trying to be slice of life. It's hard to explain. Durarara is just one of those shows that you have to watch to really embrace it, I guess. I love Durarara. It's a good show. Eat. One Mountain Dew down. Time to have another. Oh, I just realized I have my webcam off because I'm shirtless, and like when we were having the discussion about Gate, I showed the webcam, my VRV page, even though I had the webcam turned off. I'm so dumb. I'm about to get up and grab another Mountain Dew. Un momento, por favor. Alright, official drink sponsor back. I did. I watched Gurren Lagann. I was a lot younger, so I took a lot of anime more seriously when I was younger, instead of just trying to like enjoy it. Gurren Lagann was one of those animes where towards the end, throwing little galaxies at each other to fight with is super ridiculous, but it was super fun. And I feel like when I was watching it, as a kid, I was just kind of like, what the fuck? Why are they throwing galaxies at one another? And then getting older, I was like, they were throwing galaxies at one another. That's pretty badass. I love Gurren Lagann because it got ridiculous. It knew it was ridiculous, and then it played up the ridiculousness to, I don't want to say like get you hyped, but you wanted to sit there and you wanted to continue watching it because it was hilarious to watch how ridiculous it would get at times. Go away. Gurren Lagann was just one of those series that you could watch over and over again and kind of like sit there and laugh over and over again because it's funny. It's a good show. Who was it that made a good PP-19 magazine? I could have sworn Imdun did one from Call of Duty Ghosts. There was one that had all the grooves done in the magazine that I really liked. I could have sworn it was Imdun that made it. Wait. Was it Satsi? Rest in peace, Satsi. We'll miss you. He's not dead, but don't take that the wrong way. He just doesn't upload on his channel anymore. I'm kind of... I keep Mountain Dew. I want to see how he did that. Interesting. That's never bothered me, because there's just... Come on. That type of stuff happens all the time. I could have sworn it was Imdun that did this. Didn't Imdun make one from Call of Duty Ghosts? Search. PP-19. PP-19. Was it called something else on Ghost? I swear he made one from Ghosts. I'm going to sit here and start looking through. So this was his most recent one then. Here's kind of the Ghosts era of timeline. I should have checked the playlist first then if he had a Ghost playlist. Ooh, but now we've gone back to Black Ops 2. I guess he didn't make one. I could have sworn he did. Because, yeah, like I said, now we're in Black Ops 2. Huh. Well, that's the name of that. I was watching this this YouTuber. I guess he's a zombies YouTuber, but he does like custom zombie games and stuff. And for some reason, it just reminded me of this gun. I know that there was a point in time where I wanted to make this gun because it just like it looks so cool. Like this, I don't know, it looked cool. Anyhow, I guess Mk.II didn't make a magazine like this, and it was actually Satsi. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure this out. How does it stick to the front? It's kind of like how an AK rocks into place. How my different username did his was he used a hinge piece that he had modified. The way that I'm going to do it is actually what we're working on right now. I plan on using Technic pieces and then trying to get this kind of correct, which is going to be hard to do just a little bit, but hopefully it works. So how I was going to do it is have this stick in here out on both sides evenly, like so. And then you would stick your little magazine in here. So it would be like a one piece like this should be able to fit in between here and here. And that would be how ours locks into place. So you can see it hangs down like right there. So yeah, now we gotta design a magazine for this. And I figured starting in the rear is probably gonna be easier on everyone. And I'm kind of thinking about doing what color? It's just should be, yeah, okay, let's just do dark gray. Thinking about going with a 6x6 magazine. Then to get this where I want it, just take it, this here, there, this, put there. Yeah, it's definitely going to be 6x6. Boom, just like that. And then take and do this. Should be long enough. All the way back. Take this and put it all the way back as far as it'll go. Let's just do 1, 2, 3. This should give us plenty of room for messing around with that. 1, 2, 3. Delete that out. Boom. All right. Because we got to do this going down the back, which is pretty easy. The way that I was going to do it is just old-fashioned. Boom. Kind of like that, really. Boom. All right, so now we got to figure out how we're going to get all of these ridges going on in here. I'm not surprised. Those like really realistic airsoft guns, you know, they're cool, but wow, they are super expensive for, I don't want to say like no reason, because obviously there's a reason, but man, like you could basically go out and buy like a real steel version way cheaper at that point. Because there's no way that you're not going to lose those somehow, some way. Because you'll go to reload and you'll like drop one, but you're in the middle of a close quarters engagement, so you just don't have time to stop and try to pick that up necessarily. And then after the game, you'll probably try to go back to find one, but chances are some jerk has already taken it. It's probably not going to find what I need in here. Yeah, I can already tell I'm not. It'd be easier if they just had a 5 version of this. They don't have the curved pieces out for this that make it nice and smooth. So that also really sucks. That's like as smooth as I can get it without doing these. Though I guess we could use that to our advantage, can't we? So if we just take and delete that and instead replace it with this, then take and delete this, and then use this, duplicate this, put this here, take this, delete that, take this, Control C, we can stack these. then it'll have the ridges. So we're gonna actually take and make this slightly bigger, like so. This back, Control V, take this on the back of this. Control C, and then this here. And then that should make it a lot better. No, actually, just delete this out. And use this. Okay. Well, there's another way that we can do this. Let's take and Control V this, delete this and this, take this and put this here. And then do, let's take and delete this because we don't need that. Let's save this and import a model. Now we don't need to import it. We can figure this out. Let's just take this, slide it here. Actually, take and completely bring it over here. And now, yeah, man, big brain time. Oops. I'm going to use the same method that I used for the M4 and AR-15 grips that I've done, and see if those are 6 studs wide. Where are those pieces of that? I think they're in here. Oh, we have. Though I don't think it makes a perfect circle. I think it makes more of a square with rounded edges. Okay. I'm happy with that. And then do a 2 followed by a Dige. And then this doesn't fit just yet. What if we raise this? Okay. See, this is, I can already tell, this is probably going to be too high. Yeah, so that's too high. So what if we take and actually rotate this? And then use the lower section on top, and then the wider section doesn't really matter on this side. Though Well, we did find out that this still needs to go up another one, which does make it higher. So we might have to switch this back on around. No. This is going to be one of those things where it's not exactly lined up straight, because this is bigger than the space that I've allotted it to be. The idea for this comes from Cooper's Studios Ghosts model that he made for, is it a Ghost? It's called something else. It's from his Halo MOCs, basically. It's where this idea came from. So if we take and leave that, we should be fine. You can see that this is slightly too tall, but you do what you got to do to get the job done. And then this will line up with one another and go down the length of it. So now what we can do is delete all of this out. So for that, and then take it. Oh wait, it's not going to fit because it's slightly off. Okay, so for that we're going to cheat, because big brain time. Never forget, big brain time. Use this, and then drag it down, delete. Take this, put it in place where it should go. Perfect. Boom. All right. Control V. Control V. All the way down to the end. Right about one more. Right about there, and then you can see it gets way bigger. Okay, so now let's go ahead and end this whole man's career. Put that there, and then do let's keep it simple. Do this. Okay, then for this here, what we're going to end up doing is deleting this, putting that there, like so, and I'm not too concerned about this, really. There's a problem with this, but I really don't care. So if we could just have it sitting there, just like that. That's good enough for me, Chief. Yeah, like I said, good enough for me. Then do these. Boom. Good enough, to be completely honest. So this little front end little thing, can we see the front of this magazine? Yes, we can. Yeah, this little wind thing in the inside there. Alright, so yeah, then we gotta figure out how to make this really big and then put something on the inside that we can wind it with. I think that there is a tire piece that we can use that will let us do that really well. Yeah, it's 12:11. At some point, though, you just kind of get used to not sleeping. I've also wanted to do this for quite some time now, to finish this up, because I started this project like 4 nights ago, I think. Wait, just had it. And I have not gone back to finishing it or anything, so... Now then, take and delete this, and instead replace it with U. So, and then you should fit there. Yeah. Chill. Boom. Good. Good, very good. I don't like the look of this, so we're going to delete it, but we're going to leave this all the space in the front of it because I do like that. Wait, why don't we just do this? There we go. Then it's actually recessed in. Looks good. And then just put like a 45 on it. Call it a day. Yeah, I don't think I like the look of that magazine all too much. What do you think about the magazine? Because I don't know if it works the way that I think it does. Yeah, that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting from it. Like this right here looks good. Love this. This back here looks good. Love that. But all of this in between it, I don't. Trying to think of what I could do to that. And I don't really think there's anything I could do other than making it an entirely smooth magazine instead of trying to do the ridges. Actually, if I'm going to make it a fully smooth magazine, then no, because there's another way that I could do that to get a really cool effect. This is a helical magazine, so where be the pieces that I am looking for? There we are. There's smaller versions of these. Crap. I did not think about that one. Oh, there isn't. Oh, crap. Dang, that means I need to use whole ones. Because this is not going to fit. There. Of course not. Is there... Of course, this is the bigger version. Oh, man. Okay, well, let's hide the rest of this. And begin work on this. So, yeah, now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this one. First, I guess we need a casing design, which is pretty simple. No problem, man. Go enjoy it. Lipstick piece it is. Okay. See you later. Thanks for watching. Put that out here. And then we need to figure out how to place these in a somewhat helical motion. So actually, what we could do is just delete that out. I'm making the PP-19, oh, that's awkward, the Bizon, so the helical magazine version of the AKS-74U, except chambered in a slightly different cartridge, as Russia was still experimenting with a couple different ways to equip their tank groups and vehicle-mounted soldiers and whatnot. They went through quite a different couple iterations and prototyping and testing and all this other stuff to figure out what they were going to do. Yeah, it's I would go to say that it's probably one of my more favorite gun models. Russian SMGs in particular are just generally interesting. There's quite a few different prototypes and variants of kind of crazy weird things out there. Russians are kind of known for that type of stuff. Well, if we do it like this, we'll increase combat effectiveness here. If we do it like this, we'll increase combat effectiveness there. It's just all a game to them. It's what they do. Should not have deleted this piece because I did in fact need it. I've done this helical magazine once before in the PP-19 design, but I didn't make them actually spiral in that design. I just made them kind of sit there. So this is kind of complicated. Let's change this color real quick. I appreciate it, man. Support. Can't really complain. I've been getting definitely a lot better lately because there's like a friendly competition. There's this Discord server. It's my different username Discord server, so he's obviously considered one of the better gun builders in the community. And he actually has a Discord server where there's a whole bunch of other people from the community that get together and they do all sorts of their own builds. And it's really cool to see how different people approach different problems. And it's also been making me get slightly better in these like small little incremental ways, like, oh, I just saw how this person did this using this piece. Okay, well, I could use that in this. Or someone will like share a picture of something that they built, and you'll immediately be like, oh, crap, I kind of want to make that, but do it this way now. And then you would do it some other type of way. I've been looking into doing a whole bunch of other stuff now because of that. Because there's just so much different ways to do so many different things. There's also a lot of really good people in that community that are always like willing to help. and like truly like get you to go down like the ropes and stuff. It's a really good community. I think that, oops, this needs to be fixed. It's messing up my spiral. So now, should be able to take this out. Which one? Because I've done quite a few of them. 3, 4. How many shell casings do we have in here? 40. Wow, we've actually managed to fit 40 rounds in this sucker. And we could actually fit more if I had done this correctly. Because there's more room up here. Yeah, so my most recent one. I actually need to fix it because there's a couple different issues going on with it that need to be resolved. Should be in the middle. It is. And then, like I said, I have all this space here, but I don't have the room to place another version of these without interfering with this, and I don't want to interfere with that. So, man, that is super important. I've got 40 rounds in here, and I think 50 is... I did not mean to click on that. It depends, because there's like certain tricks that you could use to help you with this type of stuff. So, like, you can be smart about what you design and what you build so that you don't have to redo everything. And a good idea of what I'm talking about is actually what we're doing right now. Believe it or not, 64 round or 53 round in 9x19. So 53 rounds, we've got 40 in here. So 13 more and we'd have what we actually need. So, excuse me, it is based on the AKS-74U and features a 60% parts commonality with that assault rifle, right? So the kind of how you would approach this is, okay, I'm going to build an accurate AK and take all of the items that I can use from it. So I built an accurate AK. Off of that, I built an accurate AK-74U. And then from there, I did a whole bunch of other stuff. And that's how you can lessen the burden of this type of stuff on you, instead of having to sit here and redo things like all the time. You can be smart about it and instead just reuse things as long as accurately they're portrayed in the real world. So this, for example, is based off of an AK-74U. I've built mine based off of an AK-74U because I had an AK-74U. So that's how you can make it easier on yourself to do stuff like this. There's other parts of it that are definitely a lot harder. When you sit down to do research into a model, it's not always super easy to find research items. So I tend to look at barrel length because there's always someone who has barrel length measured, as well as the overall length. And then if it has like a folding stock to it, then you can take and you could usually Wikipedia has the folding stock information placed on. All right, let's put this back on the model. They have the folding stock information usually placed in Wikipedia, so you can take and subtract overall length from the stock folded length to get the total length of the stock, and that'll give you 3 measurements. So then you can really dial in how big certain things are, which is really nice. Yeah, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, crap. If we take and delete that, another one of these will fit. Oh, it doesn't. But if we take and delete that, another one of those should fit. So yeah, you just gotta, there's a lot of tricks to it, really. And then being able to use those tricks is how you kind of beat everything. You don't want to sit here and have to redo everything like over and over again all the time. You want to be able to actively portray something. Okay, so now how much browse do we have in there? 50. I am okay with 50, plus it's all translucent aside from a couple parts, which I am also happy with. So now we're going to come back here and clean this up just a little bit using some of these. So yeah, once you get those tricks down, you're good to go. Not as hard as you think it might be. The hard part is, if there is a hard part, is figuring out what pieces you're going to do for what. Because certain pieces are really good at doing certain things, other pieces not so much. But then if you have space restrictions based on how big certain things are, it can become pretty difficult to use certain pieces for certain things, which doesn't really help at all. So let's go ahead and move this out of the way. Entirely. The reason I asked is because I've tried actually building one, but have only had one success. And there's a good way to put this into context if we just OJ with carbon. I'm going to scroll down past a couple of these to something where it's a little easier to see what I'm talking about. I think the AA94 is a good one. So this is my personal website, and it has all of my models on it, and they're conglomerated together. So the top left corner, this tan one, is the first version of the AA94 that I ever created. And this bottom right-hand corner is the 4th version of the AA94 that I ever created, the most updated version. So first one, second one, third one, fourth one. And you can see that there's this steady progression towards getting better and better as we go down, right? So a better way to see this would be, I guess the AK, but the AK is way up at the top. So if we just, let's scroll back up to the AK. So like I said, this is the first version of the AK that I ever made. It was actually built off of the AA94 receiver. Same thing here. And then I did a second version. And then I finally did the third version, which is my best version ever, and the one that we're actually using right now for the Bizon. And then we kept going. And then we actually hit my 4th version that I've ever built, which is the illegal version. There's a video coming out on that one later on in the year because I used illegal building methods in this using Studio. So my point to showing you this is that just because you have one that might not be successful doesn't mean that later on you won't. So I've had a lot of practice making AKs. You can see this one, first one, and then boom, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. I've gone through 10 different AKs, and that's just AK-47, AK-74s, because that's all this is. But then you have the AKS-74U, you have the RPK, which I don't think is on here. Oh, it is. It's right here. I've done first version of RPK, which is based on the AA-94 platform. Then we have the second one, and then we finally have the third one. And the third one's obviously the best one. You just keep doing it, back and forth. MP-5K, first one, second one, third one, fourth one. You just keep going back and forth until you get to where you want to. This doesn't have my most updated vector on it, but you can see I've gone through plenty of different vector models trying to get my best ones. This type of stuff, you just have to keep going over and over and over again until you finally get to where you want to be. And this is kind of what I've been doing for the longest of times now. You just keep going until you finally have what you want to have. Why is this not fitting where it needs to? Oops. Okay. Still not going to, for some reason. Okay, let's do this fit. It does. Interesting. Okay. So let's change this to this. Don't be afraid to just keep going, man. Because it can be super hard at times. Like, you'll sit back, you'll look at what you built, and you immediately go, wow, that is hot garbage. I want to destroy it right now. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. It just depends at times. But sometimes with models, to me, it comes down to sleeping for a night and then coming back to it and being like, oh, well, while I was laying in bed last night, I figured out that I could do this in particular with this section of the model and change how all of this works so that it does exactly what I wanted to do in the amount of space that I needed to do that. Sometimes that's all you got to do is just sleep on it. This is not going to fit. Nope. Okay. And I don't think I can. Nope. Okay. For a P90, honestly, not a bad P90. I have the LVD for it. It's really good. Jim's P90 is fantastic. So if you need like a base P90 to start with, you could start with his. There is absolutely nothing wrong, unless you steal it, with going through and using someone else's things as a base, and then later on going back and giving them credit. Don't forget that last part. That last part is why a lot of people have stopped giving out instructions and stuff. It's the reason I don't give out instructions. I don't give out instructions to my models because I've found a couple people in the past, they'll legit steal my stuff, put it on their channel, and claim it as their own, like, oh, I built this, check me out, stuff like that. So don't be that guy. Just give credit where credit is due, and you'll be fine. I have think I've uploaded Jim's P90 and it needs to premiere right now, later on down the line. Because I did really like that P90. It's a very clean P90 model. And it does not fit. Really? Really? What is the name of the site that I'm on? The program that I'm using to build, or my website? This is Lego Digital Designer. You can download this from the official Lego website, which is kind of the best part. So no threats of scams or anything like that, because it's literally the official Lego website, officially endorsed by Lego as well, which is again really nice because there's no scams or anything like that you could fall victim to. It's a free download for both Windows and Mac. There is not a mobile version of it, so you're not able to do it on mobile, which is honestly not that big of a deal. And you can run it on pretty low-end computers. You don't have to have a super beefy computer to do this. And it is a pretty versatile application. It is capable of quite a lot. To take that out, we need to replace it with crap, did not mean to click on that. This whole program has a learning curve to it though, so don't like freak out when you first come on. How did I manage to get this to go on? Can I cheat? There we go. Alright, that's good. Boom. Alright. There we go. Sweet. happy with that. And we can take and make over that this color instead. So it comes in, and then can switch these colors up as well. My problem I have is always the grip and not having enough of the same color of pieces. Well, LDD can help you fix that because LDD has any piece that you want in any of these colors. These all the colors that LDD has. So you can choose any of these to be the color of pieces that you need and everything. So yeah, you can pretty much select everything and use it as you need it, which is really nice. Yeah, grips are really difficult to do. The best advice that I can give for grips is to basically build them in real life and then translate the design to LDD. So you would use a printing method kind of similar to what Big Planes does. So Big Planes is a guy on YouTube who builds really big minifig scale airplanes. And so what he does is he takes his, he'll look up like a plane blueprint and then print it out to a schematic, and then take that schematic and make like a 2-scale version of it that he tapes together. So then you have like a perfect layout. You can do the same thing with guns, and then print them out so that they're life size on normal printer paper, and then connect those images, because it'll print on like 4 sheets of printer paper. So you connect those pieces together, tape them, and then you have a life size version of that, and then you can use that to get everything that you need. So this should be what I needed, other than that needs to be normal white. So yeah, we're gonna save this as the first complete version, because now we are done. And that'll be it. So now I can get off stream. I'm gonna render this and then talk to y'all some other time. Thanks for coming out and watching. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe for more videos similar to this one. See you guys later in another YouTube video.